Bitcoin bulls lose momentum. Is this a bullish support test or a bearish breakdown? Hey guys, it's Keith Allen. Hope you had a great day yesterday. The week has actually been going quite well, in my opinion. And now we're seeing a little bit of a pullback in the momentum that we saw yesterday. You know, this all kind of started after really some, I would say, strategically timed statements from the White House that got really markets across the board to rally, including TradFi, after some dismal days. And now we find ourselves in a situation where Bitcoin price is pulling back, alts are starting to percolate, and the market is really questioning whether this is indeed a bullish support test or a bearish breakdown that could take us back down to the depths, retrace the whole move, et cetera, et cetera. Listen, nothing's off the table here, but there are some things that we can look at that can give us some insight as to where things are going to go. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this analysis. I'm going to show you some confirmation and invalidation levels that I'm keeping an eye on for Bitcoin. And we're going to look at some of the metrics related to altcoins that will give you some actionable insights and hopefully help you navigate the volatility. So before we start, as per usual, live chat is open. Want to let you know we had a great stream yesterday, and quite frankly, the participation makes it better. It makes it more fun for me, and I think it makes the content more valuable for you because you're getting your direct questions answered, or at least we're sharing some insights. So it's not just about asking questions. If you have insights you want to share, I want to hear those as well. Again, live chat open. And for anybody new to the stream, if you haven't done so yet, smash some buttons for me. Help me grow the channel. You know how this works. Feed the algo, baby. Feed the algo. And definitely make sure that you hit that subscribe button up in the upper right-hand corner of the YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the future streams. I've been trying to stream this the past couple days live in our Telegram channel, and that doesn't seem to be working for some reason. So if any of you have insight on how these restreams work, or excuse me, how these live streams work in Telegram off of StreamYard, by all means, help me out. Send me a message, and we'll chat on that later. So let's climb into the charts here. I'm going to start on the candle chart so that we can look at this move that has developed here this week. Gosh, we sprouted some big candles this week, and that's good to see. But it's also, in my opinion, good to see a bit of a pullback, a bit of a consolidation, because you've heard me say this many times before. Straight lines, in my opinion, are not sustainable. And we had a big straight rip. This was like a 6-7% candle here on Tuesday. Now, what caused all this, right? We had seen some tough days for TradFi, and I started hearing all the noise, all the chatter about a decoupling happening. There's no freaking decoupling happening, okay? It's not the case. We do see sometimes, from time to time, a divergence. We've been talking about a decoupling for I don't know, longer than I can remember. But the fact of the matter is, we're still in a risk-off environment. So when things pull back, that is expected. When we see rallies, especially in Bitcoin, part of that is because there is indeed interest in maybe protecting oneself from the depreciating U.S. dollar, the crazy economic situation, a self-inflicted wound that's happening in the U.S., I might add. And now looking at Bitcoin as a potential safe haven, similarly to gold. That narrative is actually pretty good in my opinion. And in terms of the macro outlook, I think the macro outlook for Bitcoin is as strong as it's ever been. So it wasn't really a decoupling, because we can see yesterday we lined right back up. Perhaps maybe Bitcoin front running TradFi a little bit here in terms of what we're going to see. Now, what were the comments that triggered this recovery? I think it was the fact that there is some talk, and there's some key words here. There is talk of easing the trade war, dialing back the trade war with China. Well, guess what? So far, it's just talk, and Trump has not accomplished anything. In fact, he's been saying that they've been talking to China every day, and China says, We haven't discussed this at all. So who's going to bluff? It already looks like Trump is folding first, but who's going to make the first move and make that call? Is he going to call? Is he going to call she? Is she going to call him? We just have to wait and see how that all transpires. But this whole tariff situation is self-inflicted wound. That's part of it. The other part is him backing off the rhetoric that he was going to try and fire Chairman Powell. He doesn't have the power or authority to do it. The market doesn't want him to do it, and the market showed him that they didn't want him to do it when he started talking about it, and the markets and TradFi started to tank. This is all because the president was saying that he was going to eliminate Powell. Not happening, bro. Not happening. I think Scott Bessent also had commented about easing the trade war, but this is not a fast thing, right? And China is going to try and inflict some pain on the U.S. because quite frankly, the U.S. drew first blood. So we'll see how that develops. Obviously, we have additional things happening in Russia and Ukraine. That's not really going favorable for Ukraine, in my opinion, but that's another topic. And I think there was another thing in the mix somewhere, but you get the point. We also have officially have a new leadership at the SEC who is committed to putting together a regulatory framework for digital assets. That's something that the market wants to see as well. So in terms of what that means for Bitcoin, again, we had this big rally. We ran into resistance here. And quite frankly, where that resistance appeared was not surprising whatsoever. We have this 2025 open that I've been talking about, and we had the 21-week moving average, some confluence between these two technical resistance levels, and, in my opinion, expected that we dial things back, or that price settles down just a little bit before we rip through this. In my opinion, ripping through this would not be healthy. Now, what is interesting to me is where support landed at the moment. I was just about to, clean up my chart and remove this. Let me do this. Let me at least clean up the chart by removing the trend precognition signal. We get the picture there. I was just about to remove this channel here. And if you recall, if you've been following along for a while, when the Trump pump began, and the Trump pump I'm referring to is the election day Trump pump. Here's November 5th. Boom, things just started rocketing up. And as I said at the beginning of this stream, straight lines not sustainable. I was looking for some sort of consolidation to grab onto. These consolidation levels are important. We need friction in the chart. We need structure in the chart. We need to have something for price to fall back to on corrections and in bull markets. And we just had nothing, right? So there's very little here up at the 76 range. We actually, it took a while, but we actually did go back and retest that here recently at the beginning of this month and double bottomed here to kick off this rally. But on that way up, we did have a brief consolidation here. We had a brief consolidation up in this 91, 80, excuse me, at like 86.5 to 91.5 level. And lo and behold, this is exactly where price went to yesterday. Now I'm expecting that we could potentially see things go lower, maybe the 100-day moving average, but this is interesting to me. Consolidation in this range would be healthy, in my opinion. As I said yesterday, I think this 2025 open is the gateway to paradise if we go up, and it is the wall that keeps us in paradise if we can't penetrate this. Now, I'm not worried about shooting through it in one candle, right? In fact, I don't want that to happen. I want consolidation here. I want more importantly than the consolidation is the support test. So if this is where it lands, so be it. But I have a feeling, as time goes on, these moving averages are getting closer. And guess what? This right here, this is bullish. This is a golden cross between the green 21-day moving average and the red 50-day moving average. And if we continue on this trajectory, we're going to see similar things happen as the uh, 21 pulls up higher and higher. We need to, you can see the 100-day kind of pulling off of this trajectory it had to death cross the 200. So, how's this going to play out? We'd like to see the 21 continue to go higher and draw these moving averages up with it, draw the 50 up with it, to unwind the 200, that's the purple one, and the 100, that's the blue one, and get everything unwound so we're looking more like this, right? When this is bull market structure. So something else that I have shared with you guys in the past and was an indication of what we were going to see here is the RSI. And while I'm not a heavy duty RSI trader, there is one metric that I do watch on the RSI very, very closely, and that is the weekly RSI for Bitcoin. And you can see we came down and we tested this level, but we did not break it. And historically, anytime we live above this, say, I've got this at 41.5 level, 41, 42, close enough to the pin. As long as we're above this on the weekly time frame, Bitcoin historically has trended bullish. Now, we can still have big dips and big corrections in bull markets, and that happens, and that's okay. But look at this. This was the 2021 mid-cycle top. We dumped, but look, it recovered. We got a new all-time high, and then things broke down into bear market territory. So I had told you all along, this was a buying opportunity, and I bought it. I hope you did too. Another bullish indication is that ETFs, that's the wrong metric I'm looking at, but let's see. While we're here, let's see if there's anything coming in today. Oh, yes. Here you go. These are actually pretty important. I have it. I almost completely forgot about this. Our economic report for today showing us that initial jobless claims right on target, continuing jobless claims a bit light, a little bit cooler than expected. 4-week average slightly cooler than forecasted. So these are positive things. These are bullish indications as well in terms of strength of the economy. And then the other thing I was going to say is ETF flows. And on the 22nd, which was let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, this was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So Tuesday was one of the biggest days on record of Bitcoin inflows or Bitcoin ETF inflows. Not going to get into the debate or the discussion of why anybody would want to buy the ETF versus actual Bitcoin. My money's on Bitcoin for whatever that's worth. In any case, this is also bullish sentiment, long-term macro sentiment, in my opinion. Back to the charts here. In terms of where we could go, this, as I said, and I can show it to you as I have before on this new indicator that we've been playing with at Material Indicators. It's the timescape indicator that shows us where these quarterly and yearly opens are. This, incidentally, also this retrace landed on the 0.5 fib, also bullish. Okay, so maybe for you fib traders, maybe that keeps us off of the 100-day moving average. It wouldn't bother me if we wicked through it and came back up and recovered, but holding the 0.5 fib here, and this is a retracement from our new all-time high to our swing low, or I should say our current all-time high to our swing low. And here's the retracement. This is a big deal. Flipping the 0.5 into the golden pocket here, big deal. More resistance up at this 95, 96 level because of the 0.618, but even more because of some consolidation here. And this is the first week of the year open. up around this 98K level. So we have a lot of technical resistance between here and I'd say about 102, just because of the confluences that we've had here. So it's not going to be a straight rip through everything. If it is, those straight rips are going to come back and retest it, and those retests are healthy in my opinion. Let's look at fire charts now and take a look and see how liquidity is lining up with where this support sits right now, right? We're currently showing the 0.5 fib around 91.8, 92K. We currently have price trading at 92.8K, so $1,000 higher than that. But in terms of where the liquidity is, we don't have a ton down here in this range. So that's slightly concerning. We've got some bids floating a little bit higher up to this 91.5 range. So there's a little bit of insulation there, but we've got some profit taking happening in this range, right? After the big rally, we have some profit taking happening in this range, and that's okay. That's normal. I'll admit I took a little bit of profit because I wasn't sure if we are going to break this or not. I did take some profits. But in terms of my longer term hodl stack, I'm not selling so much. Hey, Alex, good to have you with me back, my friend. Haven't seen you in a little while. Good to have you here. And again, for anybody who's new to the stream, live chat is open. If you've got questions, if you've got insights you want to share, I want to hear them. All right. So in terms of where support is, as I said, you can see we've got a little bit of bid liquidity coming up into this 90K level, laddering higher. If I push the contrast, it makes it a little bit easier to see. We've got about 34 million of resistance that we're sitting at, that we're knocking on right now. And then, quite a bit actually up to the 100K level, right? There's 42, we'll call it 50, well, round numbers, 75-ish, 80, there's 100 million. There's quite a bit, as you can see. I think yesterday I was looking at 200 million up to here. We've taken out some of that, obviously, but pretty strong ask liquidity up here. And we know that there were some shorts. And for those of you that are shorting this, I would just encourage you to be conservative with your profit taking. I could be wrong, right? We could see a full scale breakdown, but I think that the limit of that at the very worst case scenario is going to be down here at the 21, at least in the short term. But I think we could see a bounce from close. If the bounce isn't from here, if this isn't going to hold, then maybe as deep as where the 200-day and the trend line, those are pretty close here. The 200-day is at about 89K, and the trend line just below that at 88. So a lot of technical, at this point, a lot of technical support in this range right here. I do want to zoom out a little bit on fire charts and see if we can gain any more perspective in terms of where things might be moving. And I'll wait for my slow internet to load that chart. While I'm looking at that, or while I'm waiting for that, let's take a quick look at what is happening. Up there it is. Let me zoom this out. Let's go to the 6 month and take a look. Okay, so a lot of people are going, what happened to all that bid liquidity? All the bids are gone. Well, some of those bids turned into market orders that bought. Some of them have just disappeared because there's no sentiment that the price is going there at the moment. So that doesn't concern me, but I would like to see a nice bright block of bid liquidity show up somewhere in this range to really serve as plunge protection and trigger the algos to go back up, right? So a bit of profit taking here, not a problem, not a concern for me. Where I get concerned is if we see that breakdown really below the trend line. then you've got questions, right? Would it stop here? Would it go all the way down here? Would we even potentially see a full retracement of the entire Trump pump? Again, nothing is on the table, but I feel that the macro narrative is as good as it's ever been, and I feel that the fact that we're holding above the 0.5 fib here is also a positive sign. Let's see. I'm taking this one blind. Hey, Steve, love your channel and content. One thing, Binance sold a few weeks back. It was the biggest sell signal ever. Here's my question. Did Binance buy back already? If not, I got my answer. Well, I'm not sure specifically what you are referring to. So if you can elaborate on that a little bit, I'd appreciate it. But it's one of the things that I've been watching, and for followers of the channel, it's the whole spoofy the whale signal, and it was questionable whether or not spoofy the whale was indeed the exchange. I don't know. I don't have a way of tracking that wallet myself. So if any of you have insight to that, so be it. But there was a time here recently when we got down to like the 82 level where it seemed, and I shared this, I shared an analysis on this a while ago, and I put it back. I reshared it recently. You can see the chart that's marked up on my X channel, where Spoofy was pushing pushing price with suppression up here, pushing price into his asks down here. And we actually saw him get filled. And so that was a significant buyback. And this may have been the selling of what was purchased back at that time, because this wall was eaten. The resolution of the 6-month chart makes it difficult to see, but that wall was indeed eaten. These orders were filled, and that was 101 million right there. So I don't have a straight answer for you, but in terms of what you're seeing on Steve's asking, what about on the CVD? Well, on the CVD, you can see that the whale classes, and keep in mind, whales can disguise themselves as other order classes, and they do. So a lot of times, what we're seeing in the smaller order classes could be whale-controlled bots, whale-controlled accounts placing small orders to accomplish one of two things. One, avoid slippage. Can't make a $3 million order into $1 million of liquidity, or you're going to slip through it, end up with a higher price. Number two is to disguise their intentions, and we see both of those things happening. As you can see on the CVD here, I'm gonna isolate the larger order classes, and something to be mindful of is brown, which is our largest order class. We call them mega whales. They don't deal in a whole lot of volume. So even though it looks like they're doing a lot, the volume, if we switch it to absolute CVD, is actually quite low. So for example, last week, up until this smashing through this wall, the volume was quite low. So as the week started, right, they were zeroed out. They did some buying. You can look at the bottom number here. 1 million to $10 million orders. Those are the brown mega whales. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Then they started buying a little bit. Then they sold. They bought, started buying more, up to 10 million, sold a little bit, back to 10 million, 11 million, 12 million, 15 million, 18 million, 21 million, 22 million, getting up there, taking a little profit along the way. And then we had this moment, the big boom, where it went from 20 million to 68 million in a hurry. And look at what purple did in that same time. So 20 to 68, that's 48 million in market orders in an instant. And we look at the 100,000 to $1 million orders, that's the purple whales. They were at that point up to 197, 198, we'll call it 200 for the sake of round numbers. And they threw another 100 million at it. Boom. So that was 148, 150 million to get through this very, very quickly. So I don't know if that answers your question, Steve, but I appreciate the question. If you have anything you can clarify with, that would be helpful for me. Um, Alex is asking about ETH. How about ETH? ETH still sucks. ETH is frustrating to me. And I probably made a trade that I probably shouldn't have. I'm in an ETH position for a long time and it's underwater like a lot of people. Um, so I did dollar cost average and get a great entry down here with ETH. And things were looking good. And I was just going to stake this and let it ride, but I wanted to see how things were developing. And because I was worried, we started hearing all the chatter. I should have tuned out the chatter, but because I started hearing all the chatter about, ETH going to, ETH dying and, whatever, um, I tend to ignore that stuff, but there are a couple of people that I do actually respect and follow here on the platform. I don't necessarily take their trading advice, but I do consider their insights. And so I wanted to protect the profits that I had, or at least not take the profits at a high level, but protect so I didn't lose. So on this wick down, I got closed out. I forget what my level was, but I made a little money on it, but it bounced back very quickly. So I missed the bounce yesterday because I didn't buy back in time. I might get that opportunity. And as you can see, ETH is currently trading around an important level. This is quarterly support. This is actually the first week of the month, quarterly support here. And that's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we had wicks down below. Look where the wick went. 2018. Jesus. Wait a minute. Hold the phone. I had an order here and it didn't get filled. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So probably was off by a few bucks from the exchange I was on. That this is actually the first time I'm looking at that, and that just pisses me off. But I was worried about this. I had the order and it didn't get filled. Amazing. So in terms of ETH's strength here, I use that term loosely. We do have some upward momentum here on the weekly time frame. The daily, similarly to Bitcoin, obviously pulling back, a rejection from the 50-day moving average, and some quarterly confluence in terms of resistance. Right, all of these lines. This is the timescape. This is the new timescape indicator, by the way, and it is showing us. You can set it however you want, right? But I have it focused on yearly and quarterly opens. It'll also show the first week of the year, first week of the quarter, in this layout. And so we're through our testing, we're finding that these are actually fairly decent at identifying support levels and resistance levels. Now, they do get overshot a lot, which is why I like to overlay this with my technical analysis, because as you can see, there was an overshoot here at this level, but it landed right on my TA. And now we're back to consolidating above that level. So, if you look at something like this, it might help you, I don't know, resist the urge to overtrade because and if you're not great at technical analysis, then this is something that can help you. We've got a lot to clear here, starting with the 50-day moving average to try and get back in terms of where support goes. Maybe we go back down to these 1500s. I hope we do, so I can buy back in. I personally like those moving averages, the key moving averages, the 21, the 50, the 100, the 200. So this is a potential buy zone in my opinion here. And if I could get back to this, trust me, I would take it. In terms of other alts, I know what I wanted to show you guys. Let's head over to the MI dashboard and take a look. Let's see what is Steve, thanks, mate. I'll specify on the Telegram group later today. Awesome content. Thanks, Steve. I really appreciate you following along, and thanks for mentioning the Telegram group, guys. We have a free Telegram community for material indicators. It is a fantastic place to share insights and gain insights. No moon boys, no shilling, no bullshit. Come join us over there. Links are in the description. Global analysis chart here. I need to refresh that one. And let's take a look at how alts are faring because, well, the first indication that I had is, yesterday we were talking about total 3 and a bit of a divergence. Well, the divergence is shifting back, so I don't know that that's going to make a whole lot of difference. But the point is, we watched a eroding USDT dominance, which means that money's rotating back into other digital assets, namely Bitcoin and alts. And yesterday, we had seen really a surge in alts as Bitcoin dominance was rolling back a little bit. So we had a bit of a brief divergence. I don't think we're gonna. I don't even know if we define alt season the way that we used to be honest with you. I don't do a lot of alt trading. I deal with a handful of alts that I think have some fundamental strength, like Litecoin, ETH, and I question ETH from time to time. It just feels like there's so much built around ETH that that in the long run it should perform. Solana is another one that gets my attention for better or worse, and we Doge I was playing with because I thought that there was a chance that Doge might actually do something related to Elon's efforts, whether it's on the X platform or with the government. Sounds like that's probably not happening at the moment, so I will probably cycle my way out of that trade. But this is an indication that money rolls back into altcoins. And so it's a good time to look for those setups. And what I wanted to show you here on the MI dashboard was kind of what our rolling beta is for BTC to alts, and this kind of helps us mark when we get near local tops and local bottoms. And at the moment, when we have periods of high beta, and if you haven't seen this, like, this is something you only get when you're a Premium Plus subscriber. High betas are observed near local bottoms and low betas are observed near local tops. So as you can see, we had high beta, and now that high beta is rolling off. So and low beta is increasing. We're a long way to go in terms of being a local top, but this is an indication price, kind of moving up here. Yes, we have a pullback for a day or so, and that's okay. The price returns and drawdowns. So we can see here that after some serious drawdown, this is the 14-day rolling returns on alts, okay? And we can zoom. This is all USDT alt pairs on Binance, right? So that's 400 plus pairs in here. As you can see, we had a period of serious negative price action for the majority of alts. The vast majority of alts were just bleeding hard. 22 minus 22%, minus 13%, minus 24%, minus 10%. What was up 2% during all that? Ray, never heard of it. And now you can see recently, past couple days, things are on the rise, right? Local bottom for these alts, and they're moving. So if you're finding setups of your favorite coin, might be the good time to start playing with those. Look at this. Turbo, 107% in the last 14 days. I have no idea what that shitcoin is, but apparently somebody likes it and it's doing well. Probably a lower liquidity coin that's moving like that. I say that, I'm just speculating. I haven't even looked at it, so take that with a grain of salt. Don't don't come at me. All the turbo lovers, don't come at me and hate me. I haven't looked at your coin at all. I'm sure it's the best thing ever. Um, Point being, there's some opportunity here. And so here's the returns and here's the drawdown. Not a lot of them are getting into major drawdowns. There's a few. Let's see, like Ohm. Yeah, we know what that bloodbath was all about. But it actually, had a decent recovery. And what's this one? Fun. Home and fun. Let's take a look and see just for fun. Let's take a look and see what those look like. Um, I mean, everything's pulling back at the moment, but where did Ohm pull back to? Like it just had an ugly. I mean, this was just insanity, right? Absolute insanity. 83% candle on a daily candle, negative 83%, followed by another 40% dump. I mean, this is as nasty as it gets. This is what you get for being a shitcoiner. Okay, I'm sorry, calling it like it is. I just want to see what this move was in totality. Minus 94%. Good Lord, disgusting. So somebody called me the other day on the stream. Somebody asked about about this coin and what I thought about it, and I'd never traded it, never looked at it, not interested in it. But it did. Look where it landed. Again, on timescapes, we look at these quarterly and yearly opens as a support level here. Obviously, there was a wick through it, but you see where it's consolidating now. So this could potentially, now the day that person reached out to me, I put this up. So it's already pulled back from there, right? It was up at around 58 cents and it's now down near 52 cents. So this could be a decent support level if you're into such shitcoinery. What was the other one? Fun USDT. Are you having fun yet? Fun just punched through a dangerous spot, in my opinion. All right. Fun has nothing below it until 49. So if this breaks down, where are we going? Well, hang on. Let's do it this way. Fun could go, 15%, 20%, anywhere in this range, maybe all the way down to the 50-day moving average. That's 23.5%. And what's the upside potential? Just to get back to where we were before this pullback and that's just the beginning of the month. 73% if you get up there, but there's a lot of resistance between here and there. And I would say that you've got pretty solid resistance right here at what's that? 0.006. And that's only a 2% move to the upside. That's not pretty. Not pretty at all. I don't like it. Wouldn't touch it. Fun. Doesn't look like a whole lot of fun to me at this point. Let's go back to what we love. Bitcoin. Bitcoin, obviously, at some resistance here. You see a little bit of stair stepping up of this level. I think we're just going to play this game for a little bit. I'm okay with the consolidation. In fact, I like the consolidation. What I want to see happen, what I would like to see develop is a bit of time here. Maybe maybe we clear it this week, but based on what I'm seeing here, number one, we had this trend precognition, this A2 plus signal here that indicated, hey, price isn't likely going to exceed yesterday's high. 95K would invalidate this signal. But we also have this A1 slope line. This is another trend precognition indicator that is showing a lot of downward momentum here. And when it crosses this blue dashed line here, it's going to throw a short signal. So, and that's eminent right? That's going to happen tomorrow unless we just have just a crazy catalyst that gives us a reversion. I don't think that's likely at the moment. So we could see more of this downward momentum happening over the next 24 to 48 hours. And then that gets us into the weekend. We have some weekend whale game shenanigans. And then we see what Monday looks like. And of course, we'll have a monthly close approaching pretty soon as well. So there's lots of things to watch here, and I hope that that everybody will do so. In terms of invalidations, a push to 95K would invalidate this signal here. I think if we zoom out, keep in mind this is only a daily signal, right? So if we zoom out to the weekly, weekly momentum looks a little bit better than the daily for sure. We are hovering around this 21-week moving average, which sits at 92.5K, and price right now is just above it. Holding that would be amazingly bullish, in my opinion, and it would be a short time until we reclaim the 2025 open. If things break down, then really any of these lines below us could be our next level of support. I think for the moment, though, I think that this range here looks pretty good. Again, there's no sure things, but as we see liquidity moving in the order book, we're going to watch to see if this builds strength or if it fades back. Do we start seeing front runners come in here or stair stepping up of bid liquidity to push price up? Or is it going to start stepping down, see some rug pulls, and watch price go lower? Those are the things to watch. Hope this gives you some insight and some things to consider before you start pushing buttons. And hope this helps you navigate the volatility. Going to wrap it right there, guys. Hope this has been good for you. It's been fun for me, and we will continue to do these live streams day after day, week after week. I try to get as many of them as I can in during the week, but we'll see what tomorrow brings for us, guys. Again, if I see anything developing through the day, I'll do my best to keep you guys informed of what's going on. Hope that helps. Thanks again for the follows. Smash the buttons if you haven't done so yet and help me grow the channel. And we will do this again later. All right, guys, be good. As always, trade safe, my friends.